Revelations today, the federal government has wasted millions of dollars funding woke projects like de-colonising breastfeeding, an anti-racist dentist curriculum, and a drag show for scientists.
And look, it gets even more bizarre. The government has spent money promoting colonial resistance dance. And what about this? The government gave a grant to an artist whose claim to fame is using souvenir tea towels to challenge racial stereotypes of First Nations people.
The expenditures came to light after research by the Menzies Institute and highlight why a Doge-style program like Trump has initiated in the US is absolutely necessary here. The revelations in this report, Danica, are quite astonishing. I mean, it was $1 million to decolonise breastfeeding. I have no idea, and I'm not going to even try and guess what that means. No. But then there was $898,000 to institute an anti-racist dental system because apparently, and I quote, the mouth has become an expression of racial injustice. Somehow people's dental work reflects racial injustice. On top of that, there was $411 million granted by the government. This is our money for a study on the relationship between pop music and policing in Australia. I can't wait to read that report. 21 projects in all involving millions of dollars. And the really crazy thing about this is it seems like the more ridiculous the proposal is, the more likely a government department is to fund it. I've got a friend who runs a drug rehabilitation centre for women and can't get any government funding to help them, help these young ladies off drugs. Then you hear about stuff like this, it just makes your blood boil.
So annoying. It's ridiculous.
Finance Minister Katie Gallagher, she said, as typical, she said, well, it's a responsibility of relevant departments. Well, we have a minister in charge of each department. And so either sack the minister or find the bureaucrats who signed off on this stuff. If you approved expenditure like this in the corporate sector and the boss found out, you would be shown the door quick, smart.
Absolutely.
But somehow in the public service, this stuff just continues, which is why Jacinta Price has been put up, and she's the right person for it, by the coalition to go through every line of government departments looking for wastage like this. She should be out there selling this. Jane Hume is the opposition finance spokesperson. I understand why she was speaking about this over the weekend. But get Jacinta Price out there front and centre. She's the person to really nail this stuff.
Well, look, thank goodness the coalition do want to put a razor to this nonsense should they be elected through the Doge policies, as you said. And obviously this does not pass the pub test, but particularly, James, I mean, that's probably actually an understatement, actually, when it comes to
no matter how many drinks you've had at the pub, it does not pass the pub test.
It really doesn't, but especially, obviously, in the middle of a cost of living crisis. If you're sitting there struggling to pay your bills and these people are spending money on tea towels, I mean, give me a break, for goodness sake. We're all wondering, James, at the same time, where our $275 in energy relief has gone. Well, I think it's safe to say it's going towards anti-dentist curriculum, tea towels and colonial resistance dance. Well, how about you dance into our hip pocket, Anthony Albanese? Because I think that's what the majority of us would like, since that's what you were elected on. I've got to say it's even insulting. And the other thing that really baffled me, James, was that they've put funding for a group of scientists to receive a drag queen show. I mean, can someone tell me, please, why a group of scientists need to be entertained via a drag queen show? I mean, please.
You've not seen the link between science and drag queens?
Allegedly.
How could you be ignorant of that, Danica? What's wrong with you?
I must
this is why we need the funding, so people like you can understand the link.
Living under a rock, clearly. But aside from being so wasteful, aside from all of this, James, the bigger issue is this woke identity politics that is festering within government departments and where our money is going towards it. And the government loves to spend our money. We know that. They spent $450 million on the Voice campaign. Albo's out there week in, week out with these huge election promises. It's not even an election yet. We're not even meant to be in the campaign period, but it certainly feels like it. And all of it, we're paying for it.
Yeah, this sort of stuff just makes people irate when they hear about it. And so it's a great opportunity for Jacinta Price and the coalition. Get on the front foot, talk about this stuff non-stop for the next 5 weeks. Because when everybody is struggling, as you say, I'm not sure about that analogy of Albanese dancing into our pockets. He's been dancing in and dancing out with the cash.
There's literally been chips falling out of the pocket.
That's your blood, but when you read about stuff like that, it's
I agree.